place to place, calling a cab, showing up late. Now that it's all already waste, who you be?
Awesome. So sitting here with Sloan Struble, aka Dayglow. How's it going, man?
It's going good. How are you?
I'm pretty good. Pretty good. I actually wanted to ask. Since I know you went to UT for a little while. Did you ever know anyone who was in KVRX?
I've been to like a couple events. What's the name? Frick. There's a band I know. I feel bad that I'm blanking on their name. It's just kind of on this June, something June.
Young June.
Young June, yeah. I know the lead singer of Young June, and so I've been to a couple like KVRX shows and stuff, and I've met a couple people here and there. But yeah, it seems like a really cool community.
Yeah.
I'm sure if I was still in college, I'd be a part of it.
Hell yeah. I know.
Yeah.
I know Spoon. Like Brett Daniels of Spoon he was a KVRX DJ.
Whoa, no
which
way.
is really weird. But yeah, Young June, we had that show at Barracuda with Young June, and that was like one of our last shows.
Yeah, that was right before COVID.
Yeah. Also rest in peace, Barracuda. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, well, cool. I mean, I want to, I guess, get straight into the album, Harmony House. I was curious because I know there's this whole backstory to like, it was kind of like started as like a imaginary sitcom like soundtrack almost.
Mm-hmm.
I was wondering, like, is it important to create a world for an album outside of the music to you? And like, if so, how would you describe that, like with Harmony House?
Sure. I think it helps me definitely, specifically for this record. It really helped shape everything together. I guess for me, I just love like cohesiveness in albums. I think my favorite albums are albums where each song plays a different purpose, but all of them exist together for an overarching purpose, which is the album itself, you know? And so for Harmony House, the general idea was I wanted to write the soundtrack of a sitcom that doesn't exist, kind of for a couple reasons. I think there's this really interesting cultural thing going on where like I call it like false nostalgia, where like people our age are like watching shows that existed like long before we were born, you know, but they still make us feel nostalgic, even though like it was 20 years before. I think it has to do like just with the internet being so big and like there's so much new stuff that people are wanting old stuff as new stuff. And so I kind of just wanted to dive into that with an album, and I thought the best way to do that with like the nostalgic feelings was like tap into the sitcom sound, which naturally just sort of is the music that I've started to listen to, you know, like 70s and 80s yacht rock. But yeah, I think to answer the question, yeah, it's important to like have a general thing that I'm going towards when making an album, but I want to make sure that I look at it from a lot of different angles. So the general theme of Harmony House is just like growing up and dealing with viral fame and kind of just like being forced to grow up really quickly and like drop out of college and stuff. And yeah, I think all of the songs talk about that, but just in different ways.
Cool. Yeah, I'm really into yacht rock as well.
Nice.
Grew up with yacht rock radio. And did you I know you're watching a lot of Cheers. Coincidentally, I just started watching a few episodes of Cheers right before I read that. But and yeah, December to me specifically sounds like super like a sitcom intro or something.
Wow, thank you. Yeah,
For
I
sure.
think that's my favorite song on the album.
Yeah. The end of the chorus is like just that like switch up of the rhythm. I don't even know like what you would call that, but that just really feels like, you know, you'd see like Bob Saget, you know, like his name.
Yeah.
And he's like waving.
That's the
or
goal.
something. Yeah. Really cool. and like not something I've seen, like, nobody really makes music like that right now. So that's
Yeah.
cool. Um,
Well, thank you.
yeah, I I know you were UT partially to minor in film. I was wondering if you've like kind of ditched that interest, or if you would still like to experiment with like film related outlets of creativity, or like even writing music for TV or film.
Oh, definitely so. Yeah. I mean, that would be kind of the dream, is to like, yeah, just like write music for a movie or something. I think that would be the coolest thing I could, be a part of. Like I love music videos and I still love, visual things. Like I definitely think of visuals when I'm making songs. And so naturally that just goes into filmmaking. So I love like making music videos and stuff. It's hard because I think music is just easier for me to make. It's a lot easier to do alone. A film takes a whole team of people. And so that's just a little harder to organize, especially nowadays. But yeah, I mean, I love making movies and videos and stuff. And yeah, it's tons of fun.
Um, do you when you're making music videos, do you collaborate with like directors to like come up with the treatment, or do you kind
Yeah.
of hand it off to them?
Yeah, definitely. On Fuzzy Brain, it was just like strictly just like me with the whole idea. And then my last two videos, nicknames and Listerine, I had Jackson Ingram help me, who's a UT student. And he just like shot the videos and edited them too. He did an awesome job at that. But it all starts with just like a general idea that I have. And then I'm like, can we make this work exactly? And then that's usually what the person making the video does. But yeah, like I have a music video coming out tomorrow, and it's just like an animated video. So like I didn't do any of it, but I was like, please make this happen. Like very specific emails about like things for the animator to do. So I'm definitely very involved. But lately I've had probably just more talented people doing different things for me.
Very cool. Yeah. It's interesting. I was just curious because it's like you have such a specific aesthetic, and I was just like, I guess it kind of seems like that would be hard to maintain with like if there's a bunch of people working on,
For sure.
your stuff.
Yeah, I'm very picky about um, things. I try. I always feel guilty when I'm like picky about my own project. But then again, I'm like, I have to be. Um, I don't know.
Yeah, totally. Um, well, I want to know how you started working with Pune Ghana,
Yeah.
because you know she's incredible and she like works with so many of my favorite artists. And yeah, I was wondering if I know you did the album cover for Fuzzy Brain, so like was it weird passing that off to somebody else for this one?
Yeah, definitely so. It was weird. So Pune, it's a really weird connection where the guy who plays keys for me, his name's Nori. One of his best friends from Austin, his name Daniel McNeil, and Daniel's just like a really talented audio engineer, and he recently moved to LA. But he's Pune's roommate, and so through that connection, they became really good friends, and then just got connected that way. But yeah, she did an awesome job with all the shots and everything. But like same situation where I was like, I want it to feel like we're loading off of like a sitcom set. And so we like got in the studio and did all the stuff. And but she's awesome. Yeah, she's really talented.
Yeah, yeah, she's incredible. That's really weird. She lived in Austin for a long time too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I don't know if she went to UT. Maybe I shouldn't guess that.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know if she's like from Austin. I think she's from Texas, but I knew her. I met her when she lived in LA, so I don't really know about her history with Austin.
Cool. Yeah. I wanted to ask like how you would characterize your relationship to the Austin music scene.
Yeah, good question, man.
It's kind of vague, but
I know. Yeah. I'm trying to figure that out because I really want to get involved. I think it's so fun, like knowing all the bands playing and like all the shows and stuff. But my trajectory and timing of everything was really strange because, I planned in college to get involved with, lots of stuff at KVRX and like, playing shows and whatnot. But the internet like got a hold of me really quick, and so I released Fuzzy Brain and then just started taking off on YouTube and then did some stuff at like South by. But then by the time like I would start playing shows, like I was just already on tour. And so I'm trying to get like a grip on Austin and like knowing the Austin music scene. And yeah, just kind of figuring it all out. But I don't know. I don't really like, I love Austin and I love being a part of Austin. But I think as far as the music scene, I'd like to be, know more people. But I've gotten to meet quite a few bands. Like there's a band called Daphne Tunes, which I really like. They're based in Austin, a guy named Santiago.
I love Daphne Tunes.
Yeah,
he was
awesome.
on my radio show last year. He's great.
Oh, really? A really strange, odd story. I'm getting married next month, which is kind of like a crazy thing going on. But Santiago, who is like the head guy of Daphne Tunes, is my wedding DJ. And I didn't realize that. And we were on the phone just like talking. I was like, wait, like, hello, like, is that you? And then we had this weird moment where we like clicked and we're like, oh yeah. So that'll be fun. That's my connection with the Austin music scene.
That's awesome. Yeah. I just got his record in the mail actually.
Nice.
Yeah. I know he's a wedding DJ. That's funny. And that was just an accident.
An accident. Totally an accident. We were like 10 minutes into the call, like talking about, just like the songs we're going to do and the vibe. And then his voice sounded familiar. And I was like, wait, like, yeah. So it was funny.
Can I trouble you for a few of your picks for the DJ, for the songs at the
Sure. Yeah. I mean, we're keeping it pretty just like feel good 70s, so lots of Neil Young. We've got lots of Paul Simon. All the greats.
Nice. Do you I was just curious about that because I know it didn't seem like you had much time to like really sink your teeth into the Austin music scene like before.
Yeah.
Like we were really touring like so quickly. And but all the while like you've definitely, I feel like you've been like pretty embraced by I don't know, like KUTX or something and like stuff like that.
It's really nice because there's this lingering guilt that happens with like a viral thing, because when you think of like the story of a band, it's like you start at the bar and then like you're playing these shows and then eventually you go to Madison Square Garden, but you like build your way up really slowly. And it's just weird that the internet allows things to go so quick. And like, I'm no different than like another band. Like, I don't know when like bands get big, like nothing changes. They're just people, like they're just normal people. But it's just weird being the guy in the room where like you kind of just feel guilty that like you got lucky, I don't know. It's like a weird experience. But yeah, I don't really know how to explain it, but I love a lot of Austin bands. I think it's really fun going to shows and getting to meet everyone. So hopefully soon there'll be some stuff going on.
For sure. Is there anywhere in town that you haven't played yet that you'd like to play?
Well, I'm set to have a tour this fall and I'm playing at Stubbs, which I'm really stoked about. That'll be a big moment. But that's kind of always been a dream of mine. So that's gonna be pretty surreal. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, other than Stubbs, I'm not sure. Yeah, I freaking love ACL. If I could play every year of my life, that'd be awesome, you know. And I'm getting to play ACL live, which I freaking keep forgetting about. It's like the scariest thing in the world. That's like our first show as a band together in a long time is going to be just like archived forever on ACL live. I'm just like freaking out because that's just a scary thing, and that's like next month. So yeah, we'll need to get ready for that.
Has that been announced? I don't remember hearing about that. That's really cool though.
Yeah, it got announced. They were really like low key about it, but yeah, playing ACL live.
That's awesome. Is there I've always been curious, like, since you write all the parts and everything and you like self-produce, you do everything, like when you're teaching your band, or like how do you get your band to learn the parts? Like, do you kind of just let them listen to it and like figure it out on their own, or are you like sending them tutorials, or like how does that work?
It kind of depends. Yeah. So I'll send them stems, usually just like of their part isolated. And if they can figure it out, then that's awesome. But if they have questions, I'll just be like, okay, you put your finger there, and just like walking through with everyone, which I'm sure I can get pretty impatient because like I'll just notice everything. But especially on Harmony House, I tried to set up a lot of moments where like there's you can improvise, which is a lot more fun as a live band. But yeah, I just kind of one by one teach everyone all the parts and stuff.
What song from the album are you most excited to play live?
That's a good question. We've been rehearsing, and Crying on the Dance Floor is one of my favorite songs in the album. It took me a really long time, and I definitely had like live performance in mind, and that one's sounding pretty fun. So I'm excited for that. But then again, like Close to You, I think it's going to be really fun live. We kind of do like this live version of it, which will be cool.
So you're going to be playing keys on stage?
A little bit, yeah, like 3 songs, but just kind of everywhere, doing everything.
Exciting.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun show.
Yeah, I know, like, yeah, Crying on the Dance Floor. It's like a prom night song or something.
Yeah,
like a dance hall or
yeah.
something. Yeah,
That's the goal.
super cool. Oh geez. So is there anything, I know you do some covers sometimes. Since you're going through this like yacht rock thing, what are there any yacht rock songs that you're just like dying to cover?
Yeah. Well, on our last tour, we did like Somebody's Baby, Jackson Brown, which is such a good song, but I realized like didn't really make sense to do that yet. But we did, yeah, Somebody's Baby. We cover Everybody Wants to Rule the World, like this transition into my song Run the World, and that one's always really fun. But I don't think there's any other covers. We were kind of jamming the other day, and we did this like Fuzzy Brain into These Days, Jackson Brown. I just love Jackson Brown. I love Tom Petty. I don't know. So maybe we'll do some covers. But yeah, right now it's just hard enough like cutting songs and making a set list.
Do you think that the set will be like, will it be a mixture of the albums, or are you just going to try to run a lot of Harmony House?
For sure. Yeah. I mean, I think right now with the set list, we play like every song on Fuzzy Brain. Because both my albums are like pretty short. So, I mean, you could do almost every song, but then it's like, 21 song set. That's pretty long. But yeah, we're playing all Fuzzy Brain pretty much too. It's a good mix.
Exciting. Good to know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I heard in one of these interviews that you went through a Billy Joel phase too.
Oh yeah.
I freaking love Billy Joel. Like,
yeah.
that was like my gateway artist. So I just wanted to hear like your you know, any more you want to say about that, because or like
Yeah.
what led you to that?
Yeah. I mean, something I've been doing recently is just looking at like really objectively good songs, like songs everyone kind of knows. It's just kind of an iconic good song, and then like digging into that artist. So for Billy Joel, it's like Piano Man. You know, like everybody's like, "Oh, that's such a good song," but I was like, "What else did he write?" You know, and so from that, I just went and dug, and like The Stranger is such a good album. Went through all of that, just really vibed with it. Piano Man's great too, and then yeah, I don't know, just kind of went from there. I recently, the other day, found his album. Oh, what's it called? The Silver Curtain. It's like mid '80s. I don't know if
The
you've heard
nylon,
that one.
yeah, the Nylon Curtain.
The Nylon Curtain. Yeah. In Allentown. That's such a good song.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, they've got
but
like the steel. This guy like on stage, like I've got this like
yeah.
documentary of them playing like in Russia, and he's like
Wow.
swinging this hammer onto this like steel pipe. It's crazy.
Whoa, that is cool. Yeah, but I just love that kind of stuff. Like that's just a different. I mean, even beyond Billy Joel, it's just like a general energy that just isn't in music anymore. And so I don't want to be like, I mean, I always say this, but like, I don't want to be like an Elvis impersonator where it's like, I'm the 80s guy, like, come see my show and it's an 80s show, you know, but I want to channel that energy because it's fun and nobody's doing it, you know? Um, Not that I'm like, oh, this is a business opportunity, but that's just like the music I love. And like, I don't know. I think it'd be really exciting and cool if people recognize that in Harmony House, and then like I started to see more of it, you know. That'd be really cool if like people started to do that, you know. And then
New
there's like Billy
trend.
Joel type songs again. Yeah, wouldn't that be so cool? I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah. God, love Billy Joel. But what does anyone? Do you have any like guests on the record? Like, does anybody play like I was wondering? I know like in the past you've programmed like brass stuff. Like, did you
Yeah.
was the saxophone live this time, or was it still like in Logic?
So yeah, it actually was live. That's the only thing that I had someone else do. My guy who plays keys, Nori, he had this connection to an awesome saxophonist named Marshall Lowry, who lives in Austin. But the way we did it was I like wrote out these really intricate solos on like a MIDI saxophone, you know, and programmed it. And then I emailed it to him and I was like, can you record this exactly? And he just emailed me a file back, click and drag, and then you know that's how it worked. So yeah, he just did an awesome job, but it's just not the same, you know, when you have a MIDI saxophone. So I was like, you know, I have to have a real one. So
Yeah, it sounded real. I was just curious, because you know, like even for Fuzzy Brain, like I was like these, you know, you're kind of fooled by like it's like this is kind of like sounds live, but
mhm.
so I was like, man, like is this be crazy like programmed saxophone if
Yeah,
it's like not live?
yeah,
Um, is it?
yeah.
Do you have?
We're
Sorry, go
I was just say we're trying to figure out how to play it live. Now that's the issue.
ahead. Yeah. Well, you've brought out like I've seen a video of like you brought out like a trumpet player wants to play on is it Junior Varsity?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
you could do
So
that.
maybe we'll do that, but it's like it's a pretty intricate solo. You know, it's a little different.
Yeah, Kenny G to
Yeah,
come out.
that'd be
Um,
awesome.
are there any other like session players on the record?
Just that, yeah. Just Marshall. Everything else I did myself. All the drums are just, you know, programmed samples.
Very cool. Do you I want to know what the purpose is behind um you know if you're okay with I don't know if it's like yeah if you're okay with sharing like what's the purpose like of sneaking in the same melody into each song?
Yeah. Kind of playing on like the sitcom idea where it's like a whole season, but with a constant like in the songs. Um, yeah, the little da 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 da. It's kind of just like the Harmony House theme, I call it. and it just glues all the songs together and kind of signifies like, although I was going through all these different types of changes and phases, there was just like this constant, which I feel is just like a nice warm feeling to have. And I feel like it just makes the album cohesive. So I'm glad that you noticed it. That's cool. Because not everybody has yet, but I think eventually people will be like, oh yeah. But yeah, and the most obvious example of that would be on like Something, the opening track. It's like a very sporadic, like it's taking time to take in my time. Like I can't even get out what I'm trying to say, you know? And then the last track, Like Ivy, it's kind of like a breath of fresh air, and it's like, it's taken time to realize. And I kind of like say what I've been trying to say the whole time. So there's kind of just a lot of different ways to look at it, but I think generally it just made everything I was going through feel cohesive, which was nice.
Yeah, I was impressed. Like, I kind of like thought like that would be like if somebody else tried to do it, I was like, I feel like it would just be like, this feels repetitive. But like I never, never once was like thrown off by it coming up, like repeating. Which I thought I would be, but it was cool.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Yeah, I tried to do it very expressively different every time. Like there's a guitar solo at the end of a song called Into Blue, and it's just like way different the way I'm playing it. So because that was a fear if it would feel repetitive. So I'm glad you didn't feel that way. That's good.
Yeah. Well, I wrapping up with the last few questions. What's something that you hope people notice about the album, and also what's your favorite sonic moment that you think people should listen for?
Yeah. I think my favorite thing, is the melody and the cohesiveness, and just the general feeling of the album. I mean, I feel like it's a lot more mature than Fuzzy Brain. I know I'm biased because like I grew up a little bit and wrote it, but I think pretty immediately people will just realize it's just like a different stage of my life, which is really cool. And I feel like people who were there for Fuzzy Brain are in a different stage of their life too. So it's kind of just like this stepping stone of growing up. So yeah, I'm just excited to see how people react because it's pretty different. But yeah, I'm stoked. And a favorite sonic moment, probably the solo on Crying on the Dance Floor. I'm really excited for people to hear that because it's just like pretty epic. And I just feel like people won't expect it.
Yeah, was maybe that's the moment, but like, is there ever a time you're like sitting down, like, with the guitar in your lap, and you like, hit playback, and you're like, dang, this is hot, like this is good. Like, what can you remember any specific moments where you're like feeling feeling yourself after you just recorded?
Yeah, I remember Crying on the Dance Floor. Yeah, there was definitely a moment I was playing the keys line, I thought that was really fun. But honestly, on December, I remember after writing that first like, and I was like, that's really catchy. So I don't know. I mean, I really feel like every song serves a completely different purpose. I'm very like individually focused on each one of them. Like they kind of all are a single in my mind, but they all make sense together as well. So, and people said that about Fuzzy Brain. So hopefully it's received the same way for Harmony House.
Yeah, I think my favorite song is Medicine.
Oh, thank you.
I was wondering, like, did I read that was the first one that you wrote for the album?
Yeah.
That was like it was like 2018 or something, right? Like that was a long time ago.
Yeah. I wrote the keys line. That was like when I was first getting into like yacht rock and stuff. And like, I feel like pretty immediately, I know the YouTube comments are going to be like, this sounds like What a Fool Believes by the Doobie Brothers. But like, it was kind of like my attempt at writing a song like it. And I just wrote the instrumental. Like I have this really fuzzy instrumental. I called it Random Fun Instrumental 1, like .mp3. And I just sat with it for a really long time. But yeah, it's an old instrumental. I wrote that as a student. Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, I was just curious about that song. And is there anything else that we haven't touched on that you would like to mention about Harmony House before like talking about, plugging, like what you have coming up
Yeah.
and stuff?
Yeah. Honestly, yeah, I feel like we covered it. I just hope people like it. I'm really proud of it. So I hope people like it.
Exciting. So how can people best show their support for you right now?
If they're interested in going to see a live music show in September, I think, I'm playing at Stubbs. I forget the exact date, but that's going to be awesome. So going to show could be really fun. We could all meet and hang out. But yeah, I mean, Harmony House coming out May 21st. Pick a favorite song, go with it. I don't know. Yeah, but just listen to the music. I mean, I'm already mind blown that I'm even getting interviewed. So it's pretty cool. Yeah, but I don't know, man.
Very cool. Awesome. So thanks so much, Sloan, for doing this.
Yeah.
Harmony House is coming out May 21st, I believe. Yeah. So it is available wherever you get your music. And thanks for listening.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone.
I've waited so long.